there are irrigation canals that lead to reservoirs in California. They decided, rather than having to make new infrastructure, to take advantage of current existing infrastructure, modify it, and put these solar panels all across the canals. So it's two energy sources, both green energy sources, working together. But it's turned out that this has had an unexpected advantage. Much like when the solar panels are out in the fields, they create their own little ecosystems underneath them because they're creating shade, they're creating a habitat. And the big problem with the canals in California is that water and sun together, in water and stagnant sun together, will end up with you either having a lot of algae or long grasses. Either way, it's going to contaminate the water. The solar panels are preventing those things from happening, which means there's also a lower maintenance cost in terms of purifying the water when it goes to people for them to drink, because it hasn't been contaminated already. And just for the bloated felon, the windmills, wind farms, wind turbines, they're killing the birds. No, they're not. But they do kill some. I won't deny that. Some birds do die, and that's never a good thing. At least not if they're not going to be somebody else's lunch. You know, make it practical. However, they discovered something on this island that's owned. One of the props painted black. And all of a sudden, birds stopped dying. So basically, all they had to do is, much like not having the lights on in the city buildings so that the birds can't tell where it is that they're going, have one of these props not white, and the birds can tell where it is, where the props are, because it gives them something to gauge. Who would have thought? Meanwhile, once upon a time, every year the Nile would flood, and it would leave all of these rich sediments and seeds, as well as watering the land, and it was an incredibly fertile area. They built a little tiny kind of dam to sort of control it, and then Egypt built this great big dam to stop it and make energy out of it. Okay, except in doing that, as you can see, they basically made that whole area into a desert. They took away all the water that would have given them fertile land. They exchanged decent habitat for power. I want that very clear in your minds. And they've also, as you can see, the coastal erosion has sped up because the water's not flowing the same way it was before. You don't have things working the way they're supposed to. You change the water cycles, you change how it evaporates, you change the drought cycles, the monsoon cycles, and you know what? You don't just do it around Egypt. This sort of shit actually ends up affecting whole other areas that they can't see. Personally, I'm waiting to hear somebody point out that Russia has finally discovered that all of that land that they've owned but couldn't use because it was permanently frozen, well, the permafrost is melting, which means Russia is going to have one of the largest actually workable pieces of land in the near future that will be in an area where the climate change and crisis that we've created is helping them as opposed to hindering them. If the Strait of Hormuz is still closed, especially I want to point this out to Canada, who should be, by the way they talk, one of the leaders in green energy. Instead, Israel is the leader in green energy. Israel is the only country in the world where its forests are getting bigger and its deserts getting smaller. Everybody else is fucking up. And Canada, which claims it's so interested in nature, should have been leading the charge to green energy. Instead, we've got Alberta threatening to leave the country if they're not allowed to kill life on the planet. And we've got a Prime Minister, Mr. Colonize Me Carney, who's saying, well, since we're being colonized, this whole North America is being colonized again by Islam, I don't really care. Go ahead, kill life on the planet.